So imagine someone just walks up to you, right?
Hmm.
And they hand you the keys to this state-of-the-art Formula One race car.
Okay, wow. Sounds like a dream.
Right. It sounds great.
Yeah.
And they tell you to go win the Monaco Grand Prix. So you sit down in the cockpit, you look at the steering wheel, and there are, 50 different complex buttons, switches, dials.
Also, yeah, total sensory overload.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And total panic sets in. Because your entire driving experience up to this point basically consists of puttering around a farm on a vintage rust bucket tractor.
Yeah, that is a terrifying mental image.
Right. I mean, sure, technically you hold the keys to the most powerful, technologically advanced machine in the world, but without the highly specific fluency required to actually operate it, that car isn't an advantage at all.
Not at all. It's just an incredibly expensive, highly dangerous risk.
Exactly.
And, that gap, that terrifying void between owning a powerful machine and actually knowing how to drive it at top speed without crashing is exactly where the global enterprise market finds itself today with artificial intelligence.
Oh, absolutely.
Companies are just purchasing massive, transformative AI systems. They're basically parking these Formula One cars right in their corporate garages.
But they don't know how to drive them.
Right. They are quickly realizing that mere deployment falls dangerously short. So today, our mission is to examine a profound crisis emerging from this dynamic.
The workforce capability gap.
Exactly. We are diving into a May 2026 release from EON AI Ventures, and we are going to explore why simply buying AI software isn't enough, and how capturing human expertise before it literally walks out the door might be the only way to achieve the absolute precision required in high-stakes industries.
Okay, let's unpack this, because to really understand the severity of this gap, we have to look at the perfect storm that's currently hitting modern operations.
It really is a perfect storm.
It is. We are looking at a collision between two massive, unstoppable forces. On one side, we have AI accelerating and transforming how industries operate at just a blistering pace.
Yeah, the technology is advancing much faster than human workforces can naturally adapt.
Right. But then on the other side, we have this demographic time bomb ticking away in the background.
The silver tsunami.
Yes, the silver tsunami.
Yeah.
The source highlights a truly staggering statistic regarding this. 50% of workforce experts are projected to retire in the next 5 to 7 years.
I mean, just think about the gravity of that for a second.
50%.
Half of the most knowledgeable people in critical industries, we're talking manufacturing, energy, aerospace.
Yeah.
They're about to pack up their desks, take their pensions, and leave.
Organizations are staring down the barrel of severe, potentially fatal knowledge retention failures.
Absolutely.
I mean, we are talking about losing decades of institutional memory, the unspoken best practices.
Yeah, that subtle intuition, right? Like knowing exactly how to fix a massive industrial turbine when it makes that one specific rattling sound.
Yes, all of it just threatens to vanish overnight. But wait, I have to challenge the premise here for a second.
Okay, go for it.
Isn't the whole point of this new wave of artificial intelligence to eventually automate these exact tasks? I mean, we see AI writing complex code and analyzing legal documents.
Sure, we see that all the time.
Right. So if it's so powerful, why are human retirements being framed as such a dire threat to AI adoption? Shouldn't the AI just, watch the factory floor, figure out the patterns, and step in once the humans leave?
That is a very common assumption, and it's really driven by how AI is portrayed in popular culture. We tend to view AI as this omniscient, self-contained brain.
Like it inherently knows how to do everything right out of the box.
Exactly. But the reality of enterprise-level AI, especially in highly specialized industrial settings, is vastly different. These AI models, they are incredibly powerful cognitive engines, but an engine requires fuel.
And the fuel is the data.
Yes, but highly specific, localized data.
Right.
An off-the-shelf AI model doesn't automatically know the proprietary, undocumented quirks of a specialized aerospace manufacturing plant in Ohio.
Right. Or the hyper-specific safety protocols of a regional power grid in Norway.
Exactly. It only knows what it has been trained on.
Yeah.
And the training data for those specific quirks isn't sitting on a Wikipedia page or a public forum somewhere.
No, it is locked entirely inside the heads of those retiring experts.
Which means the AI actually needs their tacit knowledge to function in the real world.
Wow. So without capturing the hard-won, localized experience of those, 60-year-old veterans who are currently eyeing retirement, businesses hit a massive wall.
A huge wall. The AI won't know what processes to automate or how to execute them safely because it completely lacks the physical, contextual grounding.
Right.
And perhaps even more critically, without that captured knowledge acting as a localized training mechanism, companies face monumental time-to-competency hurdles for new hires.
And time to competency meaning essentially how long it takes a brand new employee to actually
Yeah.
become useful and safe on the job.
Yes, exactly. Just think about the onboarding process for a junior engineer today.
Okay.
If the senior master engineers are suddenly gone and the AI hasn't been explicitly trained on their unique plant-specific expertise, you leave the next generation of workers entirely stranded.
You have new hires trying to figure out incredibly complex, dangerous systems through trial and error.
Right. You cannot train the tractor driver to race the Formula One car if the only person who knew how to drive it just moved to Florida.
That paints a pretty bleak picture, honestly. But it also raises an obvious question. If losing these human experts is such an existential problem, and we know we need to train the incoming workforce quickly, why can't companies just use the standard consumer-facing generative AI tools we are all familiar with?
You mean like the standard chatbots?
Yeah. I mean, I can ask a chatbot how to fix a leaky pipe in my house or troubleshoot a software bug, and it usually gives me a solid answer. Why isn't a generic AI solution enough to bridge that knowledge gap for an enterprise?
Because of a fundamental limitation in how generic AI operates, it is often referred to as the 80% trap.
The 80% trap.
No. Yeah. Standard AI solutions, like the large language models we use daily, they are fundamentally probabilistic.
Meaning they guess.
Exactly. They work by predicting the most likely next word or action based on vast amounts of broad, generalized internet data. They are designed to be pretty good at a wide variety of tasks.
Right.
But because they are probabilistic, meaning they are making highly educated guesses rather than relying on absolute deterministic truths, they only deliver about an 80% efficacy rate when applied to specialized industrial training or operations.
Now, an 80% is essentially a B minus.
Yep, a B minus.
And a B minus is perfectly acceptable in the right context. If I use a generic AI tool to write a marketing email or draft a memo and it is 80% accurate, I can just fix a couple of awkward sentences and hit send.
Yeah, no harm done.
Right. But a probabilistic 80% success rate is absolutely terrifying if we are talking about the aviation technician maintaining a commercial airplane engine.
Oh, absolutely. Or the chemical plant operator managing highly volatile pressure valves. What's fascinating here is the stark dividing line this draws between casual AI adoption and high-stakes operational necessity.
Right. The stakes are just completely different.
In the industries we are discussing, energy, defense, advanced manufacturing precision, safety, and operational performance are entirely non-negotiable. An 80% outcome isn't merely an inconvenience, it is a critical failure.
Because if a generalized AI hallucinates a maintenance procedure because it confused two similar but distinct models of an industrial turbine, the result isn't a typo.
No, the result is a catastrophic physical accident. These environments demand 100% deterministic accuracy.
So you cannot just slap a generic chatbot onto a complex industrial problem, feed it a PDF of a generic operations manual, and assume your workforce is safe.
Definitely not. The probabilistic guessing game is way too risky.
Right.
That is why high-stakes operations require what is often called a synergistic bridge between the artificial intelligence and the human readiness factor.
A synergistic bridge. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, you require specialized, dedicated systems designed specifically to extract, preserve, and transmit flawless operational intelligence. Generic tools just lack the localized, highly specific context that turns a good statistical guess into a 100% guaranteed, safe, real-world outcome.
Okay, so the parameters of the crisis are clear. We have a 5 to 7 year window before half the institutional knowledge walks out the door.
The pressure is immense.
And we know, off the shelf, generalized AI isn't going to save us because it falls headfirst into that 80% trap. We need 100% accuracy, and we need it localized to the specific enterprise.
Exactly.
So how do we actually capture this human knowledge before it disappears forever? This brings us to the specific approach being pioneered by organizations like EON AI Ventures.
Right. And to really understand their approach, you have to look at their background. EON AI Ventures didn't just pop up yesterday to ride the artificial intelligence hype train.
They've been around.
Yeah, they were essentially spun out of an organization with 25 years of deep experience in immersive learning and extended reality or XR solutions.
Oh, wow. 25 years.
Yeah, so their foundation isn't just in text-based data, it's in spatial computing and understanding how humans interact with digital information in three-dimensional space.
They operate two primary platforms to tackle this workforce gap, right? There's an enterprise AI platform focused on operational intelligence and a virtual campus or virtual compass handling the scalable training side for enterprises and institutions,
Correct. But the framework that drives both of these platforms is a very specific four-step implementation lifecycle.
which is learn, train, perform, and automate.
Exactly. That four-step life cycle is the architectural backbone of their solution. It represents the journey an organization must take to move from a state of vulnerability, meaning they are about to lose their experts, to a state of complete automated fluency.
Here's where it gets really interesting, because I want to hone in on the mechanics of that very first step, the learn phase.
The knowledge capture.
Yes, the knowledge capture. Because on the surface, this sounds like science fiction. How exactly does a company extract a career's worth of tacit intuition? You can't just sit a 60-year-old master mechanic down in front of a keyboard and tell him to type out every single thing he's learned over 4 decades.
You absolutely cannot, because the expert themselves often doesn't consciously realize everything they know.
Right.
So much of mastery is tacit. It is muscle memory, it is spatial awareness, it's knowing exactly how much physical resistance a specific lever should give before it locks into place, or recognizing the visual wear patterns on a microscopic gear.
Stuff you can't just put into a manual.
Exactly. Because EON has that extensive background in immersive XR technology, their approach to capturing institutional memory abandons the written manual entirely. They capture the actual physical operational procedures in high fidelity using spatial computing.
Spatial computing. So we are talking about bringing the expert into the physical workspace and having them wear augmented reality headsets, or setting up spatial tracking cameras while they actually do the job.
Yes, exactly that kind of hardware. The expert physically performs the high-stakes operation, and the spatial technology captures everything.
Wow.
It tracks their eye movements to see what dials they check first. It maps their hand positioning, the exact sequence of their physical actions, their hesitations, and the environmental context. It digitizes their physical mastery into a data set.
That is mind-blowing.
Think of it like a self-driving car. You wouldn't just hand a self-driving AI a static two-dimensional map and expect it to flawlessly navigate a chaotic, unpredictable city.
Right, a map doesn't tell you that the delivery trucks always illegally double park on 4th Street at noon.
Exactly. But if you put that AI in the passenger seat while a veteran local cab driver navigates the city, the AI learns the unmapped shortcuts. It learns how to read the subtle body language of pedestrians at a specific intersection.
Okay, I see where you're going with this.
The spatial capture works the exact same way for industrial processes. The AI observes the physical execution of the task by the master, learning the unmapped realities of the factory floor.
That fundamentally shifts the paradigm. I mean, instead of training the AI on the open internet, you are training it on the literal physical actions and the digitized muscle memory of the company's best employee.
And that localized, physically grounded data becomes the foundational truth for the AI system. It eliminates the probabilistic guessing.
Because it's based on absolute reality.
Exactly. Which leads seamlessly into their second key capability, the train phase, utilizing accelerated AI training modules. Once you have captured that critical institutional memory, you can use the AI to generate highly precise, dynamic, immersive training environments for the incoming new hires.
So if I am a brand new employee on day 1, I am not being handed a dusty 3-ring binder of generic operating procedures.
Definitely not.
I am stepping into a virtual or augmented reality environment, and I am being guided by the digital ghost of the expert who just retired.
You are receiving precision-focused instruction based on the exact, flawless physical actions of a seasoned master. This circumvents the inefficiencies and the generic 80% trap of traditional training entirely.
That is incredible.
And the business impact of this is profound because it drastically cuts down the time to competency. You are rapidly upskilling the incoming workforce using the exact localized knowledge that was about to be lost forever.
It is essentially downloading the retiring expert's mastery and using the AI engine to distribute it to hundreds of new employees simultaneously.
Exactly.
So we have covered the learn phase with spatial capture and the train phase with accelerated virtual modules. But how does an enterprise bridge the gap from training in a safe simulation to actual flawless performance in the real world? How do we ensure the new hire is ready for the floor?
This is where we move into the final two capabilities of the life cycle, the perform and automate phases.
Okay.
The perform phase relies heavily on high-stakes performance validation. This is the mechanism that ensures that non-negotiable 100% accuracy we discussed earlier.
Right, no B minuses allowed.
Exactly. It is an integrated learning ecosystem that doesn't merely teach you the steps of a task. It rigorously and dynamically validates that you can execute the task perfectly under pressure before you are ever allowed to touch the real equipment.
So it isn't just a multiple choice quiz at the end of a software module where you click A or B.
No, not at all.
It is a simulated stress test where you have to prove you won't accidentally cause a system failure.
Yes. It prioritizes safety and outcome reliability above everything else. It is the final checkpoint. And this rigorous validation ties into a broader philosophy driving this entire approach.
Which is what?
The leadership behind these platforms emphasizes a crucial distinction for the modern enterprise. Rapidly evolving artificial intelligence technologies demand not merely adoption, but total fluency. The platform acts as the acceleration layer between the raw capability of the AI and the actual readiness of the human workforce.
That distinction between adoption and fluency brings us right back to the Formula One car analogy from the beginning.
It really does.
Adoption simply means you bought the software. You have the car sitting in your garage. Fluency means your workforce actually knows how to drive it at top speed without crashing it into the wall.
And when technology is accelerating at its current pace, a workforce that isn't completely fluent becomes a dangerous bottleneck.
Right.
You can have the smartest AI in the world, but if the human operators don't understand how to interact with its outputs or validate its decisions in a physical environment, the system fails, which leads to the final step of the life cycle, automation readiness.
So what does this all mean for the end state of the worker? If we look at that final automate step, is the ultimate goal of all this immersive upskilling just to teach humans how to manage and babysit automated systems?
Babysit the AI.
Yeah. Are we basically training people to stand back with a clipboard and watch the AI do all the actual work?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, the reality is much more dynamic and collaborative than just babysitting algorithms. It is fundamentally about synergy.
Synergy.
The automation readiness capability provides a structural bridge between human intuition and AI execution. It equips employees with the deep, validated capabilities needed to manage, implement, and leverage automation effectively. The goal isn't to phase out the human workforce. The goal is to transform the workforce into a highly capable, fluent partner to the AI.
It reframes the relationship entirely. You aren't just pushing buttons or turning wrenches blindly anymore. You are orchestrating complex AI-driven operations armed with the inherited wisdom of the experts who came before you.
Beautifully said.
The human worker is elevated from a laborer to a highly skilled orchestrator.
Yes. It shifts the enterprise from a state of constant, paralyzing vulnerability, always worrying about the impending silver tsunami and the loss of critical knowledge, to a state of continuous, accelerated capability.
Wow.
The approach ensures that human readiness scales right alongside the technological advancements of the machines.
It really is a fascinating shift in how we have to think about the future of work and human-machine collaboration. So to bring all of this together and synthesize the journey,
Let's do it.
we are currently staring down a massive demographic shift, with 50% of vital industry experts set to retire in the near future. And as we've explored, you simply cannot run a high-stakes industry where human lives and critical infrastructure are on the line, relying on the 80% probabilistic accuracy of generic AI tools.
A B- just won't cut it.
It won't cut it. To close this critical workforce capability gap, platforms are taking decades of immersive spatial technology experience and using it to essentially capture tacit human mastery.
Exactly.
They are moving enterprises through a rigorous pipeline. Learn the expert knowledge by digitizing physical actions, train the incoming workforce rapidly through simulations, perform with 100% validated accuracy under pressure, and finally, automate with true collaborative synergy between human and machine.
And this evolution matters deeply to you, regardless of your specific industry or job title. Whether you are managing a massive operational team, looking at your organization's technological roadmap for the next decade, or just trying to stay relevant and competitive in your own personal career trajectory, the lesson here is unavoidable.
Mere adoption of AI isn't enough anymore.
Not at all. Anyone with a budget can buy a license to a powerful AI tool. True fluency, the ability to seamlessly integrate, manage, and leverage these deterministic systems with human insight, is the new baseline for professional survival. The future belongs entirely to those who can successfully bridge the gap between human intuition and machine scale.
Which leaves us with one final, lingering question to ponder long after we wrap up today's deep dive.
Ooh, what is it?
We've talked about how platforms can successfully capture the subtle intuition, the decades of hard-won institutional memory, and the literal physical muscle memory of a retiring expert.
Right.
They use that spatial data to fuel a permanent, scalable algorithm for the enterprise. But this raises a profound point. Who truly owns the nuances of that lifetime of experience?
Oh, that is a great question.
Right. Is it the human worker who lived it, sweated for it, and perfected it over 40 years on the factory floor? Or is it the enterprise algorithm that finally digitizes and scales it?
Wow.
It is definitely something to think about the next time someone tries to hand you the keys to a Formula One car. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Stay curious, and we will catch you next time.